We just have to focus harder. We have to have more willpower, right? We have to stop getting distracted. It's TikTok's fault or Instagram's fault. Hi there, Kelsey Toner here, the founder of Guest Focused Tour Business Coaching, where every day myself and our team of extraordinary tour business industry mentors are helping you build a thriving, profitable tour business. Welcome back to our series on how to be more productive as a tour business entrepreneur. This isn't about cramming more work or doing work for work's sake. It's about turning our focus, our energy, and our discipline into our competitive advantage. In this video, we're going to talk about why so many tour business owners feel scattered because their work environment is designed for distraction. We're going to talk about how we can turn that around. So let's first begin with the real cost of context switching. We're going to talk about what's actually happening when we as entrepreneurs bounce between tasks. Every time we switch from one type of work to another, from marketing maybe to email, to operations, to guest questions, to managing staff, your brain has to reload. It has to let go of one context and load up another. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that switching between tasks can cost you up to 40% of your productive time, not because the tasks are hard, so to speak, but because the switching itself is so expensive. Think of it like closing and reopening applications on an older, slower computer or an older phone. You know how each switch takes time. It reloads, it uses resources of the phone, it slows things down. And if you do it enough times, the whole system gets bogged down. That's why we can work all day sometimes and feel exhausted, but look back and realize, hey, we didn't actually finish anything, or we didn't make the type of progress that we thought we would, given the amount of time that we have. It's not that you were lazy, it was just that we were switching tasks too much. The problem isn't how hard many of us are working. A lot of you guys are hard workers, and we know it because we're working with so many of you. It's how fragmented the work is. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits and somebody who's studied productivity extensively, puts it this way: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If your system is constantly switching back and forth, well, we'll always feel scattered, no matter how hard we try. If our environment is one where we're constantly being pulled this way and that and getting distracted, then we're going to have a really hard time getting the work done that needs to get done. So what's the solution? A lot of people think it's discipline, right? We just have to focus harder. We have to have more willpower, right? We have to stop getting distracted. It's TikTok's fault or Instagram's fault. But oftentimes that does not work, and here's why. A lot of studies have shown that willpower is actually a limited resource. Every decision you make, every temptation you resist, every distraction that you ignore, it all draws from the same tank. And by mid-afternoon or early evening, that tank is running low. And that's when we reach for our phone, maybe without thinking. That's when we check our email for just a second. Next thing you know, we've been in there for an hour, responding, putting out fires. It's not that we are weak, it's just that we are depleted. And a lot of us don't necessarily think about our willpower is as a finite resource that we're using up from the moment we wake up. James Clear's key insight is that winners and losers often have the same goals. The difference is their environment. People with great habits don't have more willpower than those without, but they've designed their surroundings so that the right behavior is easy and that wrong behavior is hard. If your phone is on your desk face up, vibrates, we're going to check it. If our email is in an open tab and it's on screen all the time and new emails are coming in, we're going to glance at it. If Slack is set up to ping you or vibrate your phone, we're going to respond. Not because you're undisciplined, but because we're human and humans respond to their environment. So the fix here isn't to resist temptation all day and think of it like some muscle that I'm going to work out, get my willpower super, super strong. The fix is to remove that temptation in the first place. Design our environment so that focus becomes the default, not something that we have to fight for. And this is a big unlock as we're thinking about how to be more productive as a tour business owner. Let's go through some practical ways that we can design our environment for focus. One of James Clear's recommendation is to have one space for one purpose if possible. Have a specific place where you do our most important and deep work, and only that work. It could be something as simple as a specific chair in your home or at the office, or maybe it's a specific corner of a coffee shop or a home office with the door closed, the location doesn't really matter so much as the consistency. When you sit in that spot, your brain learns, oh, this is where we go to focus. And over time, just being in that space puts you into work mode. I know a tour operator who does all of her important work at one specific cafe. She never checks her email there. She never does any admin there. You can't reach her on her phone there. That cafe is just for that creative and important work only. When she sits down there, her brain already knows what's happening. There's no warm-up period. There's no negotiation. The environment does a lot of the work for you. Of course, now as we're thinking about these environments, is that we have to get rid of those distractions. And very often that is the phone. Not a phone on silent, not face down, but sometimes just getting it out of the room. A study from the University of Texas found that just having your phone visible, even if it's off, reduces cognitive capacity. Your brain is spending energy not checking it. And just look at the way so many of us use our phones, our dependency, our reliance, our addiction. Try putting that phone out of the room. During those focus blocks, put it in a drawer, in a bag, make it inconvenient to check. Make it inconvenient to reach for. That's normal. After a few days, you won't even think about it. That's going to be part of our environmental design. Next, let's talk about digital clutter right on our workspaces. So many of us are working from laptops or on computers, and we're often in that web browser. Let's close those additional tabs. If you're working on your tour pricing or on a business development project, you don't need your inbox open. We don't need Slack open. We don't need an OTA dashboard or your booking software dashboard. Close everything except for what you're working on right now. One task, one screen. Remove all of those visual triggers that pull your attention. These changes are small, but they are not minor. They're the difference between fighting your environment all day and having your environment work for you. Many of us have focus modes that we're aware of on our phones, but get used to using the focus mode on your computer as well. Hopefully what you're starting to appreciate as we go through this productivity series is that a lot of these things are complementary. So James Clear also mentions this notion of having those themed work days, right? So if you're thinking about having an environment that sets you up for success, having something like a Marketing Mondays is not only going to help you with reducing the context switching, but there's a good chance that you're going to be using the same tools, right? So we're going to have our marketing tools open. Maybe we have our brand guidelines. Maybe we're reviewing marketing copy. Maybe we're doing some creative work. And that focus is going to benefit from not having to switch between, okay, I've got to go over here and now I'm working on, our SOPs and our procedures, which require different documents, which require different softwares. And so just having your environment be as clean as possible to the tasks that you're focusing on goes a long way. One more best practice I want to share comes from Cal Newport and in his book, Deep Work. And he calls this the grand gesture. Now, when you have a really big project or something that's really significant for your business, something that really matters and requires serious focus, sometimes we need to do something dramatic to match the importance of the work. And obviously, this has a lot to do with our environment. This can be something like booking a hotel room for the day, or going to a library in another town, or renting a cabin for a weekend. Take your laptop somewhere where you've never worked before. The grand gesture works because it signals to your brain that this is different, right? This matters. We're not gonna do the normal work today. We're not just going through the motions. The investment of money and time and effort also creates psychological pressure to make it count. We don't book a hotel room and then go there and just scroll Instagram for 3 or 4 hours, or at least hopefully we wouldn't. You don't need to do this grand gesture that often. But for the projects that can have a massive impact and could be life-changing for you and your family or your business, sometimes that normal environment isn't enough. And we can go somewhere that matches the significance of the work, and it can be worth it to make these investments of time, money, and energy just to get your best work done. Okay, let's put some of this stuff into action. First, let's think about our regular focus space. Let's pick a spot, a chair, maybe a room, or a specific cafe where we're going to do some of our most important focused work. Use it only for that. This is not a place. This is where it's different than what we might normally do. Yes, we can go and work in different environments. But when we choose this spot, there's going to be no email, no admin, no busy work in that space at all. And ideally, no distractions, no going there to watch YouTube or Instagram, that type of thing. Second, during your next focus block, let's put our phone in another room, not on silent, not somewhere in your field of view, but physically out of reach. Notice how different it feels when we do something like this. Third, we're going to try day theming for a particular week if we aren't already trying that. And for your next big project or something where you want to do some significant focused work, try making one of Cal Newport's grand gestures. Or maybe we do get that hotel room, or we drive 30 or 40 minutes just to put ourselves in a new environment, to break some of those rhythms and say, hey, this is not an ordinary day. We're going to do a different kind of work here today. So many of us, I think, stick to those same workplaces, or we just fall into habits that are eroding how productive that we can be. If you're enjoying this series on how to be more productive as an entrepreneur, and you're interested in some industry best practices or tips and recommendations from veteran tour business owners, people who have scaled, grown, and sometimes even sold their tour activity businesses, I'd like to personally invite you to book a free strategy call with one of our tour business mentors, with one of our tour business coaches. You can learn more at guestfocus.com/book a call. We'd love to have a chat, get a second set of eyes on your work week, how you're running things, your team, and help you succeed. Thanks so much for being here. Before you go, let me know down below how you set yourself up for success with your work environment. Are there best practices or things that you discover that really help you do some of your best work? We'd love to hear them. If you are enjoying this series, share it with a friend, a colleague. It means the world to us. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next video.